They got a lot of passing points, but I don't think they have a signaling system. Yeah, have you been to, well, they only got one car out, so they don't have to worry.
Yeah, I never seen them run more than one car at a time here.
Have you ever been to Seashore?
Yes.
Yeah, they have a neat system with the paddles.
They do. And I've been to IRM.
Is that Illinois?
Yeah.
If this is all new when they had to move it, they did a fantastic job. But I don't know what this could have been. This right of way might not have been impacted by the inter-county connector. You know you have a rail problem when you call it the Interstate Commerce Connector.
Yes.
Apparently, because the Philly car, PSM has been attracting a lot of the Philly cars, and they were explaining because they're all on Pennsylvania streetcar gauge of 5.2.5.
Yeah.
It's not hard to actually convert them to the Baltimore gauge, which is what 4.9 and 7.8. They just have to put like a shim in on each one, and they can get it done.
I feel like Rock Hill is mostly Philly equipment too.
It has some, mainly because the Norristown, like the electroliners, but it's really pulling a lot from the Johnstown, York, Central PA area. I think they have some Philly, but BSM has really tried to become, at least in terms of PCCs, because when SEPTA was genociding all its PCCs, they just scooped up everything that was up there.
And I've been to the Shoreline Trolley Museum in East Haven, Connecticut.
I wish that had better access to the, had better transit access.
But I have not yet been to the Connecticut Trolley Museum in Windsor Locks.
I need to go there. I went to school by there, but I didn't have a car, and I didn't even know it was a thing.
I've twice been to Shelburne Falls, Mass, but the Philly Museum there wasn't running.
It's interesting that the M&H, the Middletown and the Hummelstown, they actually have streetcar equipment. They use a towed generator, but they're thinking of wiring it. That's because even though they're a railroad, they're technically classified as an interurban via FRA regulations, so they can just run streetcars.
Sorry, which one?
Middletown and Hummelstown Railroad. So they've got a PCC and a couple other equipment, and they can just run it on their line because they're an interurban or electric railroad. Generally, Patco is that as well.
Yeah. Well, or PATH.
PATH's the real railroad. Patco, which was a new build, they actually got an interurban or electric railroad classification. I'm not sure, again, if why they wanted to or how they needed to in the 1960s, but they are. So they've got that same quasi. They're not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't come up a lot, but they're an interurban. It's so crazy. You know, by regulation, they're an interurban.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought PATH was the only one that was FRA regulated.
It's so. Yet and the SIR still. It's a different thing where if you're an interurban, you're not. You're kind of. It's
not FRA regulated.
The FRA considers you an interurban. I don't know how much the FRA cares. Like, when you're an interurban, different things apply. So I don't know.
So does FRA classify the South Shoreline as interurban or as a actual railroad?
I don't know what that one is, but I remember that it's in the Bill Vigrass book, and it's in the someone at Patco told me.
Most people usually consider it to be commuter rail.
Yeah. It's an interurban style. I don't know if it's regulated as an interurban or still is, but
I think it's regulated.
But there's an actual thing where in the 60s, because I guess Patco was interstate and all this other stuff, they went and got a designation as interurban or electric railroad, which at the time would have been an ICC classification. And that's the same thing that the M&H is. So even though they're arguably on the National Rail Network, they're exempt from a lot of regulations, and we're at the end, so.